What if the Earth stopped spinning for 1 second? Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that the Earth had stopped rotating just for a single second. Sounds harmless, right? After all, 1 second is barely enough time to sneeze, blink, or regret eating cold pizza at 3 a.m. But when it comes to the rotation of our planet, 1 second is enough to ruin your whole week. And maybe civilization as we know it. Here's why. The Earth is spinning at about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. You don't feel it because you and the atmosphere are moving together at the same speed. But if the Earth suddenly stopped while the atmosphere kept going, everything not nailed down would be hurled eastward at breakneck speed. Buildings, cars, oceans, and yes, you would instantly become projectiles. If you live near the equator, congratulations. You'd be traveling faster than a commercial jet without the comfort of complimentary peanuts. Let's put this in perspective. If you were standing on a beach in Ecuador when the Earth stopped, you would be launched into the air at over 1,000 miles per hour. You wouldn't have time to appreciate the view because the air rushing past would shred buildings, forests, and probably your Wi-Fi router. The oceans would also keep moving, producing mega tsunamis thousands of meters high that would sweep across continents. Imagine every coastal city suddenly being attacked by water with the enthusiasm of Niagara Falls, but everywhere at once. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what if I don't live near the equator? What if I'm chilling in London or Moscow? Good news, you'd still be in serious trouble. The velocity is lower at higher latitudes, but still hundreds of kilometers per hour. That's still enough to throw trucks, houses, and unlucky tourists into chaotic piles. And the sudden shift in momentum would tear apart highways, pipelines, and anything else that thought it had a stable job holding the modern world together. But it gets worse. Even if humanity survived the initial chaos, the consequences for the planet would be catastrophic. The atmosphere would continue to swirl violently long after the 1 second pause. Winds at hypersonic speeds would rip across continents, flattening anything left standing. Dust, debris, and water vapor would fill the skies, darkening sunlight and causing a temporary Earth winter. Agriculture? Forget it. Netflix? Probably down for maintenance forever. And let's talk about the oceans again. Because the Earth spins, water bulges out slightly at the equator. If the Earth suddenly stopped, that bulge would collapse, and trillions of tons of water would rush toward the poles. Coastal regions would be obliterated, while areas near the poles would suddenly find themselves with brand new seas. Siberia, finally, would get its own beachfront property. Congratulations, Moscow. You're a port city now. Now let's assume you're a cosmic optimist and say, hey, it's only 1 second. The Earth starts spinning again, right? Sure, but the damage is already done. It's like saying you only dropped your smartphone for 1 second. That's all it takes for the screen to shatter, your dignity to vanish, and the repair bill to ruin your weekend. For Earth, the shattering is on a planetary scale. Civilization as we know it would collapse before the planet had time to resume its daily spin. On the bright side, you wouldn't have to worry about paying taxes anymore, or finishing that essay, or attending that awkward family reunion. In fact, there wouldn't be many reunions at all, unless you count survivors clinging to debris in the middle of a newly relocated Atlantic Ocean. But let's add a small twist. What if, instead of stopping suddenly, the Earth slowed down gradually to a halt? Surprisingly, that's not nearly as bad. Humanity would have time to adapt. The day would slowly stretch longer and longer until one side of Earth faced the sun for months at a time, while the other side froze in eternal night. You'd either get a permanent beach holiday or a freezer-like wasteland. Energy grids, food supplies, and your sleep schedule would be ruined. But at least you wouldn't be turned into a supersonic human pancake. So, what's the morale of this story? Be grateful that the Earth spins smoothly, giving you nice, manageable 24-hour days. That gentle, invisible rotation keeps the oceans in place, the atmosphere calm, and your morning coffee where it belongs, in your mug, not smeared across a wall at Mach 1. The next time you complain about how slow the day feels, remember, you don't actually want the day to be any shorter. Because if the Earth did stop for even 1 second, it wouldn't just ruin your morning, it would ruin everything.